Today we're diving into a really incredible story. Manvendra Shah. He was the final ruler of the princely state of Tehri, and his journey is just, well, it's a masterclass in how to adapt and reinvent
October
yourself.
1946. Manvendra Shah becomes the Maharaja of Tehri. But the India he's inheriting is on the absolute brink of independence, and the whole era of princely states is drawing to a close. He is, literally, the last of his line. The pressure built up fast. By 1947, you had popular uprisings like the Saklana Revolt just erupting. Then on the very same day as India's independence, a super powerful democratic movement, the Raja Manvendra, led by a guy named Paripurnanand Painuli, was gaining massive steam. By 1948, things turned tragic, with activists martyred during the Kirtanagar movement. The demand for change wasn't just a request anymore, it was a roar.
Right? On one side, you have the centuries-old authority of the monarchy. And on the other, you have the Raja Manvendra, which is channeling the will of the people who want to join the new democratic India. It was basically an unstoppable force meeting a deeply entrenched tradition.
All this immense pressure, King Manvendra Shah made a really critical decision. He actually agreed to hold elections and even allowed an interim government to be formed in early 1948.
This was building to one final decisive moment, the end of a kingdom and really the birth of a brand new identity for its people.
One day that would officially bring the reign of kings in Tehri to a close.
And that day was August 1st, 1949. On this date, the princely state of Tehri officially ceased to exist.
Dissolved. It was absorbed into the nation, becoming a district in what was then called the United Provinces. And hey, remember that name we mentioned? Paripurnanand Painuli, the leader of the People's Movement? Well, get this. He was the very first person to sign that historic merger document.
The story really could have ended right there, you know? But for Manvendra Shah, this was just the beginning of an absolutely extraordinary second act.
Back to our original question. He lost his title, his land, his power. So, what do you do the day after your entire kingdom disappears?
Apparently you run for office. Not just once, 8 times. Manvendra Shah, the former king, was elected to India's parliament as the member for Tehri Garhwal for an incredible 8 terms.
Here's where the story gets really interesting, because history has this funny way of coming full circle. In the 1971 general election, Shah found himself running against an opponent whose name was, let's say, very closely linked to the end of his reign. It was Manvendra Shah, the former king, going up against Paripurnanand Shah Painuli, the man who signed away his kingdom. The two forces that had decided the fate of Tehri 2 decades earlier were now facing each other at the ballot box. You honestly couldn't write a more dramatic twist.
Remarkable showdown, well, democracy had the final say. Paripurnanand Painuli won the election. The man who led the people's movement defeated the man who was once their king, proving that the ultimate power now rested firmly with the voters.
Defeat was just a single chapter in a much longer story of service. Manvendra Shah's legacy isn't defined by how his reign ended, but by everything he did next.
His political career was just astonishing. Despite that one loss, he served as a member of parliament for a staggering 8 terms, from 1957 all the way to 2004. He dedicated his life to serving the very same people who once ruled, right up until his death in 2007. And for his work, he was even awarded one of India's highest civilian honors, the Padma Bhushan. And clearly, public service ran in the family. His own mother was the very first MP from the region.
Manvendra Shah's life is this powerful story about adapting to massive change. And it leaves us with a pretty fascinating question to chew on. Is the true measure of a leader their ability to hold on to power, or is it their willingness to completely transform their role to keep serving their people no matter what the system looks like?